How y'all doing? How you doing? All right. You know, working for the school district is really great. It's the only place I know where annually you get a chance to do over. You get a chance to fix your mistakes that you did last year. So you get a chance to do over, okay? A few years back, before television, I entered the school district in school health services as a physician assistant. I was wondering what I would be doing in the district and what school nurses would be doing, because I had been a former teacher and realized a lot of students would say, my head hurt, my stomach hurt, all that kind of stuff, and I would say, you know, I didn't have a nurse at Strong, Arkansas, way down in the woods, in the piney woods of South Arkansas. So we just said grin and bear it, or, you know, whatever. So when I came here, I realized the tremendous jobs that you all do, the tremendous expectations that you have in terms of having so many students, both those students in regular education and special education, that you have to attend to. I can recall going out to a clinic one day, and there must have been at least 12 or 13 students in the clinic, and one of them was thrown up on the couch. I was like, I should leave. I just should leave. She don't have time for me, so I'll come back later. But, so the work that you do is important. We appreciate the work that you do, but we want to document the work that you do in one way or another. So the Medicaid programs, which there are three, the SHARS program, which is school health and related service, the MAC claim, and the outreach initiative. All these reach out to help staff and students to do better. Now, the SHARS program allows school districts to get money, reimbursement. That's a key word, reimbursement. We're getting money back for the services that we have already performed. You with me? We're getting back money for the services that we already performed to children in special education, related services, and personal care services. This is a cooperative effort between TEA, HHSC, and TMHP, the Medicaid Contractor of the state. Okay, you with me? I'm gonna check every time to see if you're with me, okay? All right, now what do we have to do to be eligible for reimbursement? The students got to be in special ed. The service has got to be in the IEP. Let me say that one more time. You know how the preachers do. Let me say that one more time. The service has got to be in the IEP. I probably should say it one more time. The service has to be in the IEP. You with me? Yes. All right. We got to have parent permission to bill. They got to be Medicaid eligible and under 21. For them to be in special ed and the service to be in IEP, that's a campus-specific activity. That's something that you do on the campus. Medicaid eligible and under 21, we figure that out. Parent permission to bill, that's a cooperative effort between Medicaid services and the campus. We good? All right. The parent letter to bill. I'm going to tell you what it says and what it doesn't say. And I'm going to tell you who wants it and who doesn't want it. First of all, Medicaid is not concerned about the letter. This is mainly a TEA idea function. But I could say, well, we don't have to worry about that, but we do. We want to be in line with all the rules and regulations so that they don't take any money back from us. You with me? Okay, now some parents say, am I going to have to spend any money? Are my premiums going to increase, et cetera, et cetera? There's no out-of-pocket expense. There's no increase in Medicaid premiums. There's no cap on Medicaid, et cetera, et cetera. It's not going to do anything to the current Medicaid they have. We're not requiring them to get Medicaid to get the service. They're going to get the service no matter what. Got it? All right. Now, they have a right to choose someone else other than the school district to provide that service. Now, I'm sure the next speaker is going to come to you and give you a different perspective, but right now, that's the perspective we have. They have the choice to get another provider. In other words, they have a chance to go out and get another nurse, not a private duty nurse that you're all familiar with, a SHARS provider nurse. And the nurses are out there banging down the door to get $1.15 per 15 minutes. Because that's about how much we get. $1.15 per minute, a little bit, maybe a little bit more than that. So you know that there are not many people out there trying to do that. You with me? All right, but this all is in the letter. The last point is the last bullet. No formal reply, underline formal. Within 3 to 4 weeks, we will bill. So if the parent says, Ms. Kabelka, I'm not sure I want to do that. Suzanne calls me and says, the parent says she's not sure she wants to do that. I'm going to turn to Barbara and say, Bill. Okay? Because what we need is something in writing. We send out a letter for you to sign, either yes or no. Or you can call me and either say yes or no. But if it's something that you're thinking about through a third party, et cetera, we got in trouble on one case like that. So I like to hear directly from the parent what they want to do. Okay? We good? Parent letter, that's it. What are the services that are available? There they are. The one that we're concerned about is school health services, which is nursing. With me? All right. Now, let me kind of go offline a little bit. Since we do bill Medicaid for the specific services that you provide, the feds, CMS, say that we need to be involved in a random moment time study. Okay? You familiar with that? Those of you who have been here are familiar with that. And those of you who have been here, you know how far we've come from the old Scantron sheets we used to scan in. I can hear some people saying, oh, Lord. So now all we have is a drop-down menu where you answer questions. Now, we have to have mandatory training each year. 1 year, now we have to be trained first before we can train you. And so the training from the state began in August and September. So I called the state and I said, well, what are you guys doing training us in August and September? School has already started and whatever. And he said, well, we were led to believe that you guys start training then. No, kids are in school. So they changed it to July. So my second point to them was, why do we have to have face-to-face training every year? If I train Suzanne 1 year face-to-face, why do I have to train another year face-to-face? She knows it. It's not that hard. They said, okay, well then, when you do your refresher training, it doesn't have to be face-to-face. So for all the new people, it's the mandatory annual training, and for all the other people, it's the face-to-face too. All right? But we have to have that training, because they come down and they sit down and ask you, a question or two, were you trained? I want you to say, yeah, I was trained. Roscoe Lewis was up there talking. All right? Now, also, this point is I know, because I just told you, I've been in a clinic, I've been in a lot of clinics, I've seen what is happening. I know you have very little time, but it only takes a moment to reply to the 3 questions. Now, when you reply to the 3 questions, let me tell you what's going on. We send 1,367 names to the state to sample. They take away, they sample about 200. This year, they went down a little bit, 155. There are 12 nurses in that 155. During that quarter, which will start October 1, we need to have 85% compliance rate of the people in that time study. Let's do worst case scenario. If we don't have 85%, we cannot bill SHARS for the whole year. Let me say that again. If we don't have your participation in the time study, we cannot bill SHARS for the whole year. Okay? So if we fall below 85% this first quarter, I can go home. Okay? So we need your participation. I know when you get that call and that email, you say, oh, I can't repeat it, but I know what you say. I know what you say. But think about it. If you just do it, it's done. I'll do it tomorrow. No, I'll get to the next day. I'll get to the next day. Log on right then and there for your moment, whenever it is, and do it right then and there. Okay? You with me? The last bullet there, it occurs 3 times during the year, October through December, January through March, and April through June. In any one of those quarters, you can be selected. I continually say every year, if you are selected in more than one of those quarters, you should buy a lotto ticket. One of these years, I'm going to be right and somebody's going to win. However, you can be selected, and within a quarter, you can be selected more than one time. So if you respond to the email, and then 2 or 3 days later, or 2 or 3 weeks later, you get another one, and I know what you say then. Just respond to that one and with a smile and keep going. We get about $500,000 a year from that program. We are extremely fortunate in the Dallas Independent School District to be able to use that money to augment health services. Other school districts, I'm told, the finance people just take it away and use it however they want to use it. We know the money from the SHARS goes into the general operating fund. When I met with the CFO, I told him this is the way the money has to be spent. I don't like that. I said, well, you know, that's what the feds say. I don't want to do that. So, well, then you speak to the feds when they come. I'll point them out to you. Let me investigate that, Roscoe, and I'll get back to you. I said, okay. He said, okay, we have to do it. How much money are we talking about? I said, I hope you're sitting down, because it's been 4 or 5 years where we haven't spent that money appropriately. So therefore, what happened was we said we got this much money to spend. How can we spend it? We bought health office. You should be happy, maybe. We bought health office. This recent year, we got 5 special needs school nurses from that money. So what I'm saying to you, look what good it's doing. Just answer the 3 questions. That's all you got to do. Okay? Who was with you? What were you doing? And why were you doing it? Nobody was with me. I was eating a hamburger because I was hungry. You're done. Got it? Now, we get reimbursed for that, not for you eating a hamburger. But somebody somewhere else decides whether that code is billable or not. You don't have to worry about it. Just put down what you were doing. We're talking about 1 minute, 1 minute, 60 seconds. However you want to look at it, 1 minute or 60 seconds. Not 5, 10, 15 minutes. I opened the bun, I got the lettuce, I cut the tomato, all that. I was eating a hamburger. That's it. Good? You good with me? All right. It does 2 things. It tells us how much money we can bill for the MAC claim, and it sets our SHARS rates every year. So in October 1, based upon previous time studies, we're going to see how much money we're able to get from our SHARS program for nursing and for all the services. Recently, those rates have been going up. It's a good thing. Okay? So, answer the question. All right, now we're going to come back to the SHARS program. Can't say this enough. Can't say this enough. The service has got to be in the IEP. We have 13,000 students in the special ed program. 200 of those have nursing in their IEP. I heard What does mean? Should it be more or less? You think it should be more? Put it in there. Okay? Now, once you put it in, this is for nursing. Two things about nursing. Once you put it in and it's over, take it out. Have an R to take it out. Once you put it in and it kind of slides along, maybe you give medication here, maybe you give medication there, put in PRN. I fought with the people that said, no, nursing can't be PRN. Everything has to have frequency and time. I said, yeah, but nursing's different. We need PRN. Who says so? I said the state says so. Where is it in writing? Here it is right here. So in the drop down, you have PRN. So if you give medicine maybe once a year, stick PRN in there. Barbara may call you and say, where's your ticket? You can tell her, Barbara, look at it, it's PRN. Y'all know Barbara Cross. She's the operations supervisor for SHARS. Say, hey, Barbara. Okay? Are you with me? Now, if it's a 10-day course of amoxicillin for an ear infection or something like that, we don't have time to get that in the ARD. By the time we get it in the ARD, it'll be over, and then we have to have another ARD the same day we put it in to take it out. Okay? So what we want to do is look at those things that are going to be prolonged. All right? Nursing service is a skilled nursing task, something that no one else can do but you. And it can be direct with the student, delegated to someone else, or it can be medication administration. Let me tell you a little story about medication administration. The feds audited us some time ago, and they were looking at medication. And they called me and they said, Mr. Lewis, looking at the service that your medication that your nurses are giving, they're much longer than other nurses around the state. I said, well, they don't know what they're doing. I said, well, we have about 150,000 students within the district. The nurses don't know every student in their building. They would like to. But by the time the student gets there, they identify the student, they identify the medication, and make sure it's the right medication and the right student, and then administer the medication to the student and let the student sit there and see if there are any untoward effects. That's more than 2 or 3 minutes. That's more than 2 or 3 minutes. Now, I would hasten to say I doubt if the other people have medication errors, but we don't have any within the Dallas Independent School District. So they said, well, we disagree with that. I said, well, you can't prove that we have medication errors. So they came out next year and they said, okay, medication administration is per visit. Per visit. No time, per visit. So we can bill up to 4 times for medication administration. All right? Here's a list of reimbursable things. You can see it, other services, anything that you can think about that's a skilled nursing task. Anything that you can think about that's a skilled nursing task, you can usually bill for, including the one just above other services. It says assessment of a student's nursing and personal care service needs. So if you're going down to the classroom, and I know you do sometimes, right? Mm-hmm. If you're going down to the classroom and you're making an assessment of that child's nursing and or personal care needs, or either one, you can bill for that time. You can bill for that time, okay? Because you're trying to help that student be healthy, wealthy, and wise, okay? Now, Documenting the service in the R. I know you had a in-service directly related to special ed sometimes this year. So this will be a brief overview. The ARD committee, only in Texas, admission review and dismissal committee, basically does three things. It determines whether the student is eligible for special ed, develops the instructional program, and the related and personal care services. Those are the main three functions of that particular committee. And notice I said admission, in, review, monitor, and dismissal, get out. Admission, review, and dismissal. We don't use dismissal too much, but if there is a nursing service and the student transfers to your building and you're not providing it, just get it out of the R. Okay? Exceed software, and I know you've probably heard many tales at your building about how terrible it is or whatever, but it is the only thing that we have. And that's where we document the services on the related services page. We will choose nursing services, and then there will be a mandated checklist to specify the nursing services being provided. You with me? Also, whether that service is direct, delegated, or both. So if you're giving medication Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and the office manager is giving it Tuesday and Thursday, it would be both delegated and direct. Because when you give it, it's direct, and you're delegating it to the office manager, give it the days that you're not there. You with me? All right. Frequency, time, PRN. Use PRN when you need to. Sometimes you say, well, the parent was given the medicine, but now she's giving it at home, so I'm going to just leave it in there. PRN. If there's any question, if there's any inkling of the fact that they may use the medication at school, leave it in the R. Because when you do, we can bill. If they don't, if you take it out and it happens, we can't. All right. Now, we understand that all your encounters are happening in the health office system. This year, I know you received some tickets from Ms. Cross, and some of the things might not have been just right and appropriate. That's because we had some difficulties getting information out of Exceed. But one thing she told me, she said the nurses are right on it. They calling, they emailing, they got me hopping. That's good. She needs to hop. Nursing services are billed every 15 minutes, medication administration per visit. So, what we are working toward, now you've gotten paper tickets, which you're going to use. What we sincerely want to do to make your life easier and our life easier, if you're putting all your information into health office, there are 2 reports that we think that we can bill from. So all that we want to do is send you the names, let you print off those reports, sign them, and send it to us. Ain't that lovely? Ain't that lovely? You'll like it, they'll like it, okay? So, nursing in the IEP, we figure out if they're Medicaid eligible, we send you a paper ticket, you send it back to us signed. Let me get that. You send it back to us signed, no matter what the relationship is on the ticket. You didn't provide the service, the student moved to another school, you did provide the service, we need it signed. With me? Put your John Hancock on that. And then we'll submit the appropriate claim. We've been extremely fortunate to have a young lady from Skyline who's currently at Eastfield College who said, I'm dying to get in y'all's apartment. I said, well, we'll see how that goes. Her name is Jasmine Zamarippa, and she is our billing specialist for nursing. Her name, number, and email is there. Keep her hopping too. Okay? She's a newbie, but hey, see one, do one, teach one, right? All right. Now, Texas leads the nation in everything. Yes, ma'am. I see a question. Is the glucometer billable? The blood sugar test. Whatever you're doing around diabetes that only a nurse could do, and a child is in special education and is Medicaid eligible, yes. Don't you worry about whether they're Medicaid eligible. Just make sure the service is in the IEP. One, as you notice, the reimbursable nursing services, one is client training. One is assessment of the student's nursing and personal care services. So if you're monitoring, assessing that, and or training that student, that is a billable activity. Everything that you do that's a nursing service must be in the ARD. I would hop up here on this thing and split my legs between here and tell you that. A few years ago, I used to could do that. But increasing age and Jack Daniels and other things, I am not able to do that. But let me say it again. Let me do it like they do in the old Baptist church. Hello, walls. Hello, windows. You have to have the service in the ARD. You have to have the service in the ARD. Not only to bill, but to document what you do. The nurses in the Dallas Independent School District are not doing anything for the children in special ed. Yes, they are. Here it is right here. Not only those that are Medicaid eligible, but those that are not Medicaid eligible. 13,000 students. We have so many students that are getting nursing care. In and out, because that's the way it's going to be. Again, hello walls, hello windows. I'm going to hop now. No. The service must be in the IEP. Now, I know what you say. I don't have anybody at my campus to help me. I don't have anybody at my campus to help me. Well, I want you to hold that thought, because I'm going to give you an inspirational story at the end of this talk that will help you with that. Okay? You with me? All right. Now, we were at Texas leading the nation in everything, including the number of children who have no insurance. And you know that. Well, let me tell you what's happening. You know that about 25,000 or 16% of our children say they don't have insurance based upon the student registration form. Okay? Now, and all these things you know if they don't have health insurance, they don't do well in school, they go to the emergency room, you know all this, right? But do you know that 25,000, that at least 70% of those will qualify for Medicaid or CHIP? You know that too. I always said the nurses were smart. Okay, can you read that? Maybe you can. Enrollment at the time we did this in April, 148,000, 22,000 or 15% were uninsured. But look at the people who did not fill out the forms and the ones that were not put in the system. So we have somewhere around 42% that we don't know anything about. Either the registrar didn't put the information in or the parent didn't fill it out. I encourage you to jump on the registrar. Okay? All right, so they get that information in. I'm going to talk with Mr. Aaliyah and student data and ask him to encourage the enrollment staff to encourage the parents to fill that information out so that we have great, good data. Actually, we're doing very well, because when we first started that, when Ms. Kabelka was able to to get this in, we were looking somewhere at 32% uninsured. Look at us now, we're 15%. We all might as well take and say, yay, we did it. Yeah, come on. This year, a couple of new things are happening. HHSC, which is the state agency that certifies people as Medicaid, is trying to go all electronic. Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. But they've been trying to do it for years. But the way they're doing it is soliciting community partners, people who can help out, who can look directly in the system. You know, the reason we do what we do the way we do it now, have the parent fill out the application, return it to you and return it to us, so we can give it directly to HHSC. Normally it goes to, you know where? Midland, Texas. Midland, Texas. Know where that is? Some of the applications weren't able to find their way there. Some of the applications were not able to find their way there. Some thousands of applications were not able to find their way there. So we decided to do it ourselves. Now, with this new community partner program, we're able to have people. There are 3 levels. One, we have a computer where the parent can go and sign up for Medicaid or CHIP directly to HHSC. Another one, there's a computer and a person that's trained to assist the parent. The third step is when you have actually someone who will put that information in. We have made application, and we are the only school district to have done so. I think we'll get it. If we don't, I will split these tables. Because if the children don't have health insurance, they can't go see the doctor, the referrals that you have won't be completed, et cetera, et cetera. There's no substitute, the superintendent says, for poor quality instruction. But you got to have a quality student in front of you to provide that instruction too. And that's what you do. But they got to have access to health care so they can get there, so their vision, hearing, their asthma, their diabetes, and everything is being treated appropriately. Now, I know in the past we've sent you applications. We're getting away from that. So this year, what I decided to do, I decided to hire an outreach specialist. I told her that her job is to wake up every morning and ask herself, how many people can I get enrolled in Medicaid and CHIP? How many nurses can I worry today? And when she goes to bed, after she says her prayers, how many people can I get in Medicaid tomorrow, or CHIP, okay? Her name is Zora Espinoza. Ms. Espinoza. You have her email address and her phone number. Keep her hopping. Keep her hopping, okay? Huh? No email? Oops. Well, I'll send it to you. Believe me, I'll send it to you. Okay? You have any questions? There's a hand. There's another hand. I got only a few minutes. Yes. Yes. For those students that are 18 or 19 years old, can they sign themselves up? The question would be if they truly do not get any help from their parents. They're living at home and it's still on the income tax and all that, probably not. If they call themselves emancipated, or if they're homeless or whatever, then yes. That was another question. Oh, same lady. All right. There is some assistance, and Ms. Espinoza is your first visit. She's coming out to see you at the older age school. All right. Okay, she will. Yes, ma'am. Yes? This is what you can do. There's a form called a 1826. There's a form called a 1826. 1826, the parent has to fill out that form for us to be able to talk to HHSC about the status of that application. If not, we can only tell you when we gave it to them. Yes. 2 more questions. How can parents get to that computer? When we get approval for that, we will you'll be the first to know. All right. Yes, ma'am. That's a phase-in program that they're phasing in different agencies that request that. I believe I was talking to Suzanne. I believe the bank had one or something. A bank has one, so I'm hoping we're on the list to get that. And what we plan to do is have all levels around the district. We have parent centers in some of the schools, so we're going to ask the community liaison to person those machines and help the parents out. And based upon your comments to us, we'll be able to put those computers where the parents can get on it wherever you say. We can move them around once we get them. Okay? All right, you got any other questions now? I know I'm running into somebody else's time, and I got to tell you a story. Yes, ma'am. They still have the Medicaid buy-in program. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Quick qualify to 211 or another number? Oh. We'll send you some information about that. Okay. We wanted to talk about how to get things done. And I wanted to tell you an inspirational story about a gentleman in East Texas, somewhere around Jefferson, Texas, in a little small community called Smithland, Texas. You familiar with it? Probably not. Some of you are. The name of the story is called Collard Greens. I'm sure you know about collard greens. Old gentleman lived alone in Smithland. He worked to dig his yearly collard green garden, but it was always very hard for him because the ground was hard. His only son, Junebug Jenkins III, who used to help him, was in Huntsville prison. The old man wrote his son a letter and described his predicament. Dear Junebug Jenkins III, I'm feeling pretty bad because it looked like I won't be able to plant my collard green garden this year. I'm just getting too old to be digging up the garden plot. If you were here, my troubles would be over. I know you would dig the plot for me. Love, Dad. A few days later, he received a letter from his son. Dear Daddy Jenkins, whatever you do, don't dig up the garden. That's where I buried the bodies. Love, Junebug Jenkins III. At 4 a.m. the next morning, FBI, National Security Council, the local police arrived and dug up the entire area without finding any bodies. They apologized to the old man and left. The same day he received a letter from his son. Dear Daddy Jenkins, you can go ahead and plant the collard greens now. That's the best I could do. So, figure a way to get it done. Thank you.